Tonight is Jennifer Igwe in Lagos. Asmao Habibu Shagari also joins us from Sokoto. 4 interlocutory appeals filed by Justice Walter Onogen during the tendency of his trial at the Code of Conduct Tribunal have all been struck out by the Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja. Judiciary correspondent Femi Okewo reports.
In order to put these 4 interlocutory appeals in their proper context, one would have to go back in time to the various pronouncements and activities during the trial of Justice Walter Onogen at the Code of Conduct Tribunal. For each pronouncement made by the Code of Conduct Tribunal from the 14th of January, when the 6-count charge were filed against Justice Walter Onogen, the legal team of the SY Chief Justice of Nigeria filed interlocutory appeals. First to be determined by the 3-member Court of Appeal panel, led by Justice Stephen Ada, was the ex parte order of the 23rd of January, which asked Justice Walter Onogen to stand aside as the Chief Justice of Nigeria. For that, the court said it was a spent appeal, already overtaken by events, even though the court agreed that the processes of securing the ex parte order raised fundamental questions. The Court of Appeal said delving into the propriety of the order would also interfere with the substantive appeal, which was still before the Court of Appeal. The next interlocutory appeal was the bench warrant issued by the Code of Conduct Tribunal, which was actually never executed, and as such was also struck out too. On the orders of the Federal High Court, National Industrial Court, and the FCT High Court, which ordered the CCT to stay proceedings pending determination of some matters before the courts, the Court of Appeal said, in the light of the provisions of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act, criminal trials were not meant to be stayed in order not to cause a delay in criminal trials. The Court of Appeal, however, frowned at the tribunal sitting as an appellate court over the orders of Federal High Court, National Industrial Court, and the FCT High Court. Now, with the interlocutory appeals done with, what is left is now for the Court of Appeal to determine the main appeal coming from the main judgment of the Code of Conduct Tribunal over Justice Walter Onogen. And that will be determined as soon as arguments are taken before the Court of Appeal. In Abuja, Femi Okewo, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari is asking members of the governing All Progressives Congress to feel justifiably proud for their contributions in not only getting Nigeria back on track, but firmly placing her on a renewed growth trajectory. Speaking after receiving an award of honor conferred on him by the Progressives Governors Forum, the president appealed to Nigerians to renew their faith in the country as the federal government sustains efforts towards achieving national unity and prosperity. State House correspondent Adam Sambo reports.
The Honours Award is to formally appreciate President Muhammadu Buhari for his visionary, exemplary and purposeful leadership, as well as selfless service to humanity, thereby dismantling obstacles to national development and restoring the country on the path to sustainable future.
Mr. President, you may not know that we're a God-given asset to this nation. Most of the leaders in this country are those who either buy their love or buy their fame or buy their political position. But in your own case, you don't spend 1 naira and you have love come to you. You have leadership come your way. This is only judgment I have to say you are destined by God to govern this country. And distractors can never stop you from where God has destined you. I salute you, Mr. President.
President Muhammadu Buhari described the gesture by the Progressives Governors Forum as not only encouraging, but also a reminder for him to continue dedicating his life to serving Nigerians and moving the country's democracy to the next level.
Going forward, we must all work towards building a socially cohesive society in which the resources of the country work for all. We will continue to apply public funds in such a way that no section of the country or segment of the population suffers social exclusion.
Going down memory lane, the president wondered what would have become of Nigeria by now without the sacrifices made by the founding fathers of the APC and other well-meaning Nigerians to wrest power from the PDP. Such a collective commitment in the greater interest of Nigeria, he said, is needed now more than ever in finding solutions to the prevailing challenges confronting the country.
We, the 250 cultures or more in Nigeria, each culture thinking is superior to the other, the only way out is to keep together and deliver this country for the future. We need to build bridges across the different divides and instill faith in the unity and the indivisibility of one Nigeria. I call on the state governments to be a strong pillar of support for our anti-corruption agenda. I am confident that together we would achieve our objective of building a united and prosperous nation.
The president, however, described as worrisome that insecurity remains a major challenge, but said his administration is determined to more than ever face this challenge, secure the country, and sustain the current economic recovery efforts for growth that comes with more jobs as well as fair and just distribution of the national wealth. At the ceremony, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo presented awards to some long-serving founding members of the Progressives Governors Forum in appreciation of their outstanding contributions towards deepening the Change Nigeria project in the states.
This award, as far as we're concerned, is an elixir, is an encouragement, is a motivation for us to continue to contribute our best to see that APC grows from strength to strength until Nigeria reaches the glory land.
No president has supported governors and states the way you have done, without minding partisan interest, and we're all here to thank you for it.
Although the APC lost some of its states to the opposition in the last elections, it has also gained others, thereby retaining control of the majority. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, Saliu Abdullahi felt the pulse of some of the award recipients and other progressives on how to consolidate on what has so far been done.
In few weeks' time, many here will not be in the position they occupy. But not occupying a position does not mean not being able to contribute to the ideals of the progressives. So, when the curtain falls on the tenure of this category of people, what will be their priority?
The desire to salvage Nigeria, to realize the full potential of Nigeria, those progressive tendencies still exist within that party, and we just need to reinforce those values.
This is the beginning for a new and better Nigeria, because for the first time in the history of this country, people from different backgrounds, north, east, south, and west, parties that are diametrically opposed, came and accepted one philosophy, a united Nigeria.
Already promised that we'll continue to ensure that activity is undertaken to include everyone, so that everyone will continue to prosper. We focus more on education.
The exit of some progressives from position of authority ushers in other progressives, while some will still be around to serve as a link between the two.
How they started, the level of commitment they made, the level of efforts they made to get this nation to where it is, and to learn from there and to make sure that we do exactly what they have done.
So it's something very inspiring. It teaches us a lot, that one must be humble.
And I urge the new governors to emulate them too, to contribute their quota to the next level of our democracy.
The next dispensation begins on May 29th. From the State House Banquet Hall in Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi, NTA News.
The people of Ekiti State will now have something to look up to in the incoming administration, with Governor Kayode Fayemi holding talks with the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustapha, on vital developmental issues. The SGF told Ekiti people to get ready to enjoy massive infrastructural development, which will act as a catalyst in changing their socio-economic life. Governor Fayemi, during the visit to the SGF, enumerated various developmental projects that would be established by the federal government for growth and development of the state. President Muhammadu Buhari has expressed Nigeria's appreciation to the People's Republic of China for what he calls genuine efforts by the Asian nation to improve infrastructural development in the country. This was while receiving the chairman of China Railway Construction Company Limited, Fengjian Chen. State House correspondent Adam Sambo has details.
Nigeria's infrastructure, President Muhammadu Buhari said, had depreciated and deteriorated over the years, affecting standard of living and leading to loss of lives through avoidable accidents. The country, he therefore explained, cannot thank the Chinese government enough for supporting efforts at rebuilding such critical assets, as well as bringing technical expertise to the country. President Buhari said the federal government will continue to effectively collaborate and cooperate with the Chinese in this regard towards turning around the nation's old, out-of-date and collapsed infrastructure. He promised to personally pay attention to the many projects being undertaken in the country for the good of the Nigerian people. The chairman, China Railway Construction Company, Mr. Chen, who led a high-powered Chinese team to the State House, said the company, operating in 124 countries of the world, has 18,000 local employees in Nigeria alone. With railways, dry port, free trade zone, and highways as part of the projects being undertaken, Mr. Chen expressed the belief that about 40,000 more jobs will be created. He announced plans to invest $250 million on a dry port in Ibadan, Oyo State, towards decongesting Lagos ports and ensuring speedy clearance of goods by the Customs Service. While commending President Muhammadu Buhari for sustaining the war against corruption and insecurity, Mr. Chen expressed confidence that Nigeria will soon become a much better country. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
The presidency has maintained that government will engage all stakeholders, create dialogue between and among different groups, and seek partnership to build the country. This was contained in a statement by Garba Shehu, Senior Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, while reacting to a statement attributed to Ohaneze, expressing concern over alleged 100 billion naira given to Miyetti Allah. Garba Shehu again denied the issue of money offered to the group, saying the allegation is aimed at inciting people against each other and against government. The statement says President Muhammadu Buhari's government is equipped to address security challenges faced by Nigeria and has made the task of addressing the issue urgent. Miyetti Allah, like any other trade, community, ethnic organization or interest group, he said, is a legal stakeholder in the nation and should be respected as its activities does benefit everyone. Therefore, government, he said, will uphold transparency and dialogue. In yet another effort towards improving the welfare of inmates and the Nigerian Prison Service, some operational vehicles and facilities have been inaugurated at the headquarters of the service in Abuja. Correspondent Victor Azu reports.
Delay in justice dispensation in Nigeria is attributed to many factors. Late arrival or even non-appearance of prison inmates to court is one of them. The reason is usually because of inadequate operational vehicles by the Nigerian Prison Service to convey inmates. However, this scenario is changing with ongoing reforms. The Minister of Interior arrives to a guard of honor at the Nigerian Prison Service. It's another busy day. He is here to inaugurate 115 operational vehicles and other facilities meant to improve the capacity of the Nigerian Prison Service. The minister recognizes the value these facilities confer on the prison staff and inmates' relationship.
We have shifted focus from the crime to the criminal. We are not looking at the fact that somebody violated a particular law and he must be punished for it. But we are also looking at the way that this person is a human being and he has the capacity to change.
The driver of the initiative, Controller General of Prisons, Jafaru Ahmed, says the inauguration is part of ongoing reforms to deepen its rehabilitation and reintegration goals.
The projects and vehicles being commissioned are part of the priority projects being undertaken in prison formations across the Federation with a view to enhancing effectiveness and efficiency in the area of service delivery.
And in the end, for Jafaru Ahmed, the legacy will not only be the physical projects, but the lives of inmates, which ultimately gets better. In Abuja, Victor Azu, NTA News.
You're watching NTA Network News. We have more reports after this time out. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Muhammad Barkindo Aliyu Mustafa. The chief host is His Excellency Malam Nasser Ahmed El Rufai, the Executive Governor of Kaduna State. Royal Father of the Day is His Royal Highness Alhaji Dr. Show Idris, CFA, Emir of Zazzau. The host, Malam Yakubi Muhammad, Director General of Nigeria Television Authority, Malam Mansur Liman, Director General of Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, and Dr. Osita Okechukwu, Director General of Voice of Nigeria, Announcer Organizing Committee. You are welcome.
Thanks for staying with us. Now, the Nigerian Navy is poised to sharpen knowledge of its personnel through research and development with a view to enhancing its response capacity to security challenges in the country. Suleiman Abdullahi Rigachikun reports that Chief of Naval Staff Vice Admiral Ibok Ete Ibas said this at the inauguration of the Nigerian Navy School of Armament Technology, Kachia, Kaduna State.
The Nigerian Navy School of Armament Technology, which was relocated from Lagos to Kachia in 2009, has been running from the Army School of Artillery. Training and retraining is an integral part of the Nigerian Navy. The institution, like any of its type the world over, is established as a research and development center in engineering, science and technology, as well as innovation, with a view to revolutionizing naval operations for national security and defense. With its inauguration, the school can now carry out such functions as training and capacity building of its personnel, design a missile system, weapon handling, develop radar system. It will also carry out functional weapon tests as well as software development. The school occupies a landmass of 200 hectares with administrative block, accommodation, 30-bed sick bay, computer center, and other facilities.
One of the foremost priorities of our administration is the security of lives and property to all residents of Kaduna State. The presence of security installations like this and the presence of heroic military men and women like you further boosts our efforts.
Chief of Naval Staff Vice Admiral Ibok Ete Ibas acknowledged the efficacy of the institute at developing naval power to protect Nigerian waterways and create manpower capable of addressing all challenges.
Of the potentials of this school, in synergy with sister schools like Nigerian Army School of Artillery, would further fine-tune and enhance Nigerian Navy's roles in ongoing operational engagements towards addressing the myriad of internal security challenges in the hinterland without losing focus on our primary responsibility of active engagements and defense at sea.
The construction of the school started in 2015 by present Chief of Naval Staff Vice Admiral Ibok Ete Ibas. In Kaduna, I am Suleiman Abdullahi Rigachikun, NTA News.
Now, the launch of Operation Puff Adder is set to have made life difficult for criminals across the country, with about 400 suspects arrested. The Acting Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, is however charging commissioners of police to sustain the war on criminality to fish out other criminals still hibernating.
In line with this, it is noted that the national crime profile of the country from 1st of April 2019 to date indicate a significant increase in the arrest of offenders and recoveries of firearms by the police within the country. This is an indicative of the fact that Operation Puff Adder has been largely effective in strengthening the capacity of the police to respond to internal security threats. The essence of this conference, therefore, is to challenge you all as strategic police managers at the field operational level to build on the solid foundation already laid with the launch of Operation Forefather and strengthen the crime management framework in your respective commands.
A safer highway patrol, the Nigeria Police says, will be resuscitated with an acquisition of new fleet of operational vehicles, equipment and weaponry towards expanding the operational scope of the scheme. The Federal Road Safety Corps is synergizing with the Nigerian Army War College in order to create a better path for a safe and secure Nigeria. This was during the visit of the Nigerian War College participants of Course 3 2019 to the FRSC headquarters in Abuja. Oyeyemi Ajayi has details.
This is not a raid, but an unusual visit of participants of the Nigerian Army War College from different military and paramilitary formations, including those from other countries like Cameroon. Expectedly, the visit is to further synergize relationship between the Federal Road Safety Corps and the Nigerian War College, but more importantly, is a desire to foster better working relations through exchange of notes.
And of course, joint training that we have going between, of course, us and you, having your personnel with us, will, of course, improve synergy in a multi-agency and joint environment. We have actually been treated to so much this day, and I can tell you that learning has actually occurred.
So we want to appreciate you, so that next year another group will also come.
With questions from the 66 participants on how the Corps has achieved major milestones, it becomes clear that there is the need for better cooperation amongst military and paramilitary agencies in order to have better output. In Abuja, Oyeyemi Ajayi, NTA News.
Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, has commended the efforts of the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, for its professionalism in news coverage. The minister stated this during a brief visit to NTA Awka en route the 13th convocation ceremony of the Nnamdi Azikiwe University. Ngozi Okekaro reports.
The minister said NTA is adhering to its core values in their news reportage by being objective in their editorial judgment and as such fulfilling its vision of being the world-class television network despite its challenges. He said that the authority is the referral media outfit that sets the pace for others to emulate.
I do not see the NTA as just, a news churning organization. No, I think NTA does much more than that, and we need to encourage the NTA in this. Take pleasure in watching NTA, either their documentaries, either their futures, or their various programs. You are one of the few stations that are able to bring a kind of inclusiveness into the practice of the media.
The minister also advised members and staff of NTA Awka not to be involved in carrying fake news and hate speeches which could be detrimental to the unity of the country. He urged them to be more proactive in service delivery as the federal government will not renege in its commitment to the welfare of workers.
Since Mr. President has assented to it, I'm sure that as soon as possible workers will start enjoying the new wage. But I think to whom much is given, much is also expected. So I will also appeal to our workers that they should also justify the gesture of government by ensuring that the output, is also commensurate with the increase.
The minister also encouraged Muslim faithful to explore the opportunities offered by the month of Ramadan to upgrade their spiritual status. The minister was led on arrival by the Zonal Director, Enugu Network Center, Benny Modi, while the NTA General Manager, Olaide Ajala, received him on behalf of staff and management. In Awka, Ngozi Okekaro, NTA News.
And Jennifer in Lagos has more stories on NTA Network News. Over to you, Jennifer.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Good evening and a warm welcome to Lagos.
A senior manager with the Central Bank of Nigeria, Aliu Mukandas, has told the Federal High Court sitting in Lagos that the 2.2 billion naira paid into the Silver McNamara account, domiciled with the former Diamond Bank, was authorized by the former National Security Advisor, who is signatory to the account. He made the revelation while giving testimony at the ongoing trial of former governor of Ekiti State, Ayo Fayoshe. Fiera Chimuba reports.
Mr. Aliu Makandas, a senior manager with the Central Bank of Nigeria, is the 12th prosecution witness in the trial of the former governor of Ekiti State, Ayo Fayoshe, facing fraud charges. He told the court that the account in which the 2.2 billion naira was paid into is used to fund security agencies like the National Intelligence Agency, National Security Advisor, and State House account, and as directed by the former National Security Advisor. Another prosecution witness, Adewala Adegbola, a former bullion van driver in Zenith Bank, Ado Ekiti branch, who was led in evidence by the EFCC counsel Rotimi Jacobs, told the court that his area of duty is cash picking, and in the absence of that, he works in the marketing department. However, when he was asked to tell the court what transpired between him and one alpha named Opute Okwemute, he said the cash they had picked needed to be covered up as if they had gone there officially. Uncomfortable with his testimony, the EFCC prosecutor informed the court that the witness was departing from the content of his extrajudicial statement made to EFCC and sought an adjournment. The defense counsel, Ola Olanikpeko and Olale Kojo, objected to the request on the ground that it offended Section 230 of the Evidence Act. They argued that the reason is not sufficient for an adjournment to be granted. But Justice Mojisola Olaterego, who queried the prosecution on why he cannot instantly cross-examine the witness, however, granted the request. Further hearing continues on the 14th of May. In Lagos, Fiera Chimuba, NTA News.
Now, operatives of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps have intercepted 20 bags of cannabis in Lagos. Lin Leneke reports that the Commandant, NSCDC Lagos, Tajuddin Balogun, confirmed the seizure while briefing the media.
The sacks of cannabis were concealed in 80 parcels of contraband. The contraband were intercepted along the Badagry Topo Creek by the marine team of the Corps during a routine patrol. On sighting the team, the syndicate abandoned the boat conveying the consignment.
Where this boat was intercepted, like about 100 nautical miles from the seashore, so we're around Topo Badagry. And you know that Badagry is at the border post with the public company. So we cannot rule out the possibility of some international syndicate being involved in this. Other agencies that are involved have been communicated with, and we are working together because you know that drugs and crime work together. The multiplier effect is beyond imagination. You can imagine what could have happened if this thing happened to get to the open market.
The Corps says it is intensifying efforts through collaborations with sister agencies to rid the creek of illegalities. The Commandant of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps said that it will no longer be business as usual for offenders. In Lagos, Lane Lenake, NTA News.
Thank you, Lynn. And now to our business news segment, and Abola De Salami is on standby. Abola, over to you.
Thank you, Jennifer. Good evening and welcome to the business news segment. The economic policy initiatives introduced by the Central Bank Governor Godwin Emefiele on the stability of the naira and the import and exporters window on foreign exchange has made Nigeria economy attractive to foreign investors. An economic expert, Edwin Idegu, while reacting to the renomination of Godwin Emefiele, said the Apex Bank should pay more attention to the microeconomic sector that stimulates economic growth. The decision by President Muhammadu Buhari to reappoint Godwin Emefiele as Central Bank Governor for his second term has been attributed to his fiscal and monetary policies largely designed to stabilize economic growth. As an emerging market, Nigeria has had to grapple with huge crash in crude oil prices, which resulted in currency crisis and an increase of 18.79% inflation figures in 2017. The commitment of the Central Bank of Nigeria in promoting a more stable and resilient financial system, coupled with a sustainable economy, resulted in a drop in inflation figures to less than 11.5%.
Of course, they manage. You know, you recall if you go back, way back 2017, inflation had gone way haywire to almost about 18.75%, almost about 19%. That's quite high. And gradually they have stabilized the system. The FX market has stabilized, even though that's not where we're actually really going. The policies, the SMEs, quite a number of innovative things that the CBN, under his leadership, have actually really done. Will then one be surprised to note that the president is reappointing him? For me, I'm not really surprised.
Part of Emefiele's policy, experts submitted, has helped the country manage inflation during festive periods, as well as sustain exchange rates. The incidence of cybercrime in the country has increased with about 2 billion naira lost in 2018. The Director of Payment System Management, CBN, Sam Ajekere, said the Nigerian Electronic Fraud Forum is mapping out strategies to curtail the menace.
A report by the Nigeria Interbank Settlement System, NIBSS, reveals that in 2018, over 38,000 fraud incidents valued at 9 billion naira with an estimated 2 billion naira loss occurred, with mobile fraud at 28.21%. As fraudsters continue to innovate ways to beat the system, the Nigeria Electronic Fraud Forum is galvanizing ways and putting together resources that will stem the tide.
So they too will create that awareness. They need to be updating every day. That's what I mentioned during my address, that we cannot remain as we are holding meeting here. They too, they have their system, they upgrade. So we cannot relent to keep on updating whatever thing we do. We relate to have relations with other countries, other providers, security providers.
Fighting electronic fraud through a collaborative effort that will make the payments ecosystem safe will imply that some emerging fraud threats, such as cryptojacking attempts, blue bond, and the internet, as well as synthetic fraud, must be nipped in the bud.
And now talking equities, the bull was stuck all through trading session this week. Let's see how details went today.
Now to stock market report. Equities market recorded another loss at the close of Friday's trading as NSE All-Share Index dropped 0.17% to close at 28,847.81 basis points. Volume of shares traded stood at 235 million, valued at 1.36 billion naira, which exchanged hands at 3,130 deals and a market capitalization of 10.8 trillion naira. Stanbic, Guinness, and UACN appreciated in figures, while Seplat, Afripod, and Mansard closed in red. On sectorial performance, NSE Consumer Goods closed in the green, appreciating by 0.13%, while NSE Banking, NSE Insurance, NSE Oil and Gas, and NSE Industrial finished in red, depreciating by...
I have to start all over again.
Migration is a human phenomenon which cannot be stopped. But if we choose to migrate, we advocate that it should be done in a safe, orderly, regular and dignified way, and not in a dangerous and tortuous manner.
This message is brought to you by the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons.
Thank you for staying with us. Residents of the Federal Capital Territory and environs will soon bid farewell to estimated power billing as the Abuja Electricity Distribution Company, AEDC, launches meter access providers. Kolo Mohammed reports.
The owner of this flat at River Plaza Estate in Lugbe, like thousands of others in the FCT, have been groaning under the heavy weight of estimated billing by AEDC. Today, he sighs relief with the choice of his residents for the launch of metering of all houses in the FCT to aid consumers to not only pay as they consume, but also control consumption to their abilities.
Puts an end to estimated billing. And like the regulator prayed a minute ago, that contributes significantly to NESI, right, who, where it has been necessary, right, to not only reduce the losses in the system, but also increase collections for the entire market, right, so that we can have an investable proposition for our power sector.
The Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission is guaranteeing consumers that loose ends have been tightened and everyone will have a fair deal.
There are specific timelines to ensure performance. One of such is where the meter gets faulty, it will be replaced at no additional cost to the customer within 2 days. And if it is not replaced within 2 days, the customer is not liable to make the meter service charge payment.
That it has a lot of flexibility so for it to succeed. One of the flexibilities that those customers who may not have the resources to pay upfront, they can leverage on the banks to get to borrow money and pay for the meter. The other flexibility is that the customers can also pay in installments over time.
All houses in the FCT are expected to be metered by AEDC within the next 36 months. In Abuja, Kolo Muhammad, NTA News.
Governor Tambuwal meets heads of security agencies in Sokoto and Asmau, brings us details. Over to you, Asmau.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Good evening and welcome to Sokoto. Governor Aminu Waziri Tambuwal has called on people of Isa local government who are currently taking refuge in Niger Republic to come back as their safety would be guaranteed by the government. Tambuwal made the disclosure while responding to questions from media men shortly after a closed-door meeting with heads of security agencies in the state. Alat Abdullahi has the report.
The coming together of heads of security organizations in the state with the state governor may not be unconnected with the recent security developments in some parts of the state. The areas affected are mostly local governments that share border with Zamfara state and the recent crime that claimed the life of a district head of Balle in Gudu local government area of the state.
We had to call for this emergency special meeting with the heads of security organizations in the state to review the general security situation of the state, appraise it, assess it, and come up with some strategies of containment.
Recently, President Muhammadu Buhari has banned the use of motorcycles in some states' forests, where banditry is a common phenomenon.
We are appealing to the people in those areas to stop using their motorcycles, especially to areas where these bandits are, because the ban is enforced here in Sokoto State.
Fear has forced some people in Isa local government to flee through Brukusuma to take refuge in Niger Republic.
I will personally undertake a trip to where they are in Niger Republic to go and appeal to them to come back to Sokoto State. Peace is being returned. Let them come back to their homes. We shall guarantee their safety by the grace of God.
Ensuring security of lives and property is a collective responsibility. In Sokoto, Dalat Abdullahi, NTA News.
Farmers in Sokoto State, with the support of International Fund for Agricultural Development, IFAD, are leading the way in ensuring sustainable agricultural practice for growth and development in the state. Musa Abubakar reports that this is coming as International Fund for Agricultural Development, IFAD, and Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET, collaborate to enlighten the farmers on rainfall prediction for 2019 and how it will affect farming.
Aminu Ibrahim is a 42-year-old farmer who had endured losses in the past due to lack of information on seasonal rainfall predictions.
We use for like what we inherited from the grandfather. When you see water, we go and planting.
But his fortune and that of other farmers in the state is about to change with the intervention of International Fund for Agriculture Development in collaboration with Nigeria Meteorological Agency, NIMET, which provides seasonal rainfall predictions to guide farmers in achieving the maximum yield.
Over the years, our farmers have been guessing when these rains will come and when they will stop.
have a lot of research institutions where we make collaboration with them to get seeds, and they will suit the current situation of the rainy season.
It will guide farmers in the state especially on how to go about their planting for 2019 wet season.
With length of 2019 rainfall season predicted at 109 days for Sokoto, Dr. Bako Matazu emphasized on the need to make plans to counter likely emergencies that may accompany the short rainy season.
The beginning of the rainy season mostly is associated with high-intensity rains that can cause damages to properties and at times loss of lives. So we're advising all disaster management agencies to do a lot of sensitization campaigns.
For Amina Ibrahim and other farmers here, the workshop will help in achieving yet another successful farming season. In Sokoto, I am Musa Abubakar, NTA News.
And that's our package from Sokoto. The news will continue with Elizabeth in Abuja. Good evening.
Thank you. Our federal and Edo state government to feed about 22,000 pupils. Let's now join Agatha in Benin for details.
Elizabeth, a warm welcome to Benin. The National Homegrown School Feeding Program and the Edo State government have concluded plans to feed about 22,000 pupils in 2 local government areas in Edo State. Focal person of the Social Investment Program in the state, Osayuwame Aladeshelu, disclosed this in Benin City. Good luck in Naini reports.
At the commencement of the school feeding program in Edo State, Governor Gordon Obaseki directed that pupils from primary 1 to 6 benefit instead of only pupils in the first 3 classes as contained in the original scheme. As schools resume for 3rd term, government has engaged the services of 180 caterers who will provide meals for 21,928 pupils across 121 schools in Ohode and Orion local government areas.
Before you start cooking, you have to go and do your medical test until you are screened. We don't allow them to come on board.
The idea is to ensure that pupils are well fed to benefit from the all-round revamp of the basic education subsector, a process captured under the Edo Basic Education Sector Transformation, Edo Best.
After a few months, weeks and months, we'll do an evaluation to see how this has translated in the health life of the child.
Vice President Yemi Oshimbajo flagged off the school feeding program in Edo State in January this year. In Benin, Goodluck Enaini, NT News.
And the Oba of Benin, His Royal Majesty Ewa II, has promised to support this year's National Festival of Arts and Culture, NAFEST, to hold in Benin. This was during the visit of the Director General, National Council for Arts and Culture, Otumba Olusegun Ronsewe, in preparation of the festival scheduled for October. Steve Lonai Wankulu reports.
The National Festival of Arts and Culture is a socio-cultural activity that promotes the rich cultural diversity of Nigeria. Preparatory to this year's edition in Benin, Oba Ewa II sees it as not just an avenue to advance unity of Nigeria, but promote Nigerian culture to international communities.
Culture is a veritable tool for advancing the unity of Nigeria. I can assure you that we will do our best to justify the confidence imposed in us to promote the culture, arts, for the benefit of all Nigerians.
This is the first time Edo is hosting the festival in 31 years of the celebration, and it is to showcase the world to the rich cultural heritage of the land.
Edo State has never hosted NAFEST, and I said that within my first assignment. Benin is the cradle of our heritage and our culture. Our best is in Benin when it comes to our culture. It's our country, and it's only for the palaces.
In Benin, Steve Lonai Wankulu, NTA News.
That ends it from here. Elizabeth, it's back to you.
Thanks, Agatha. Still to come, sports and more. After this time out, stay with us. We'll be right back.
These days,
People get their news and information from more media sources than ever before. Some of the news and information given are fake, unverified, doctored, and manufactured to create confusion, stir disaffection, and cause disunity. Before you believe or share any news, ask yourself, is this real? Is it from a credible source? Is it verified or verifiable? Fake news is dangerous. Whether you do it for fun or for political gains, real people can get hurt. Fake news, don't create it, don't spread it.
This is a public service announcement from NTA.
You can follow us on all our social media platforms: Facebook at NTA Network News, Instagram at NTA Network, Twitter at NTA News Now, YouTube at NTA News Online. Or visit www.nta.ng. For live streaming, visit www.nta.ng/live. Now, you can stay updated on the go, be it on your TV, iPhone, laptop, or iPad, or download the NTA mobile application from your Play Store or App Store. NTA, you can beat the rich.
Thanks for staying with us. Turning to health matters now. Permanent secretaries in the health ministries from across the Federation converged on Abuja for the 20th National Scientific Conference organized by the Advocacy in Child and Family Health Project. Uche Ugochukwu reports that task shifting and task sharing policy implementation in the context of primary health care was the focus, with emphasis on equitable distribution of healthcare services and more training institutions in Nigeria.
Nigeria has over the years been challenged with high rates of child maternal mortality and other negative health indices, mostly due to death of health professionals.
There is no facility or no clinic that have enough staff.
Statistics show 20 doctors, nurses, and midwives attend to 10,000 Nigerians. As WHO reports, 70% of the rural populace has no access to healthcare services, making the country second in terms of inadequate number of medical practitioners in Africa. This informed the federal government's launch of task shifting and task sharing policy in 2014 to shift tasks from the overburdened health workers to those that are less burdened but capable.
And that is why we also have two-way referral, that areas they cannot operate, they can also refer and then get information back.
Facilities are being manned by trained people, and at the same time, we try to reduce maternal and child death in those areas.
However, implementation of this policy, the forum believes, has not conformed to the goal of primary health care under one roof.
It is expected that the skills of community health practitioners are maximally and optimally improved.
The meeting with states permanent secretaries of the Ministry of Health is geared towards attainment of universal health coverage targets. Uche Ugochukwu, NTA News.
Now to sports with Tamara Ebiwe.